Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a horror movie review and I'll be having a look at Paranormal Asylum, The Revenge of Typhoid Mary. Now this DVD claims it's a true story. Now there is some truth to the Typhoid Mary kind of legend, but this actual story is obviously just a work of fiction. Now, this is an interesting movie. It's obviously a very, very low budget movie to start with. But what you've got here is a kind of mix between your traditional kind of haunted hospital asylum type movie with a kind of traditional sort of narrative and camera work and whatnot. But it's actually spliced together with portions of kind of found footage. Now the found footage probably only makes about a fraction, maybe a sixth of the film. But, you know, it is in there. So what we've got here, we've got two sort of long-time friends get together to kind of make a documentary about this kind of abandoned hospital and really sort of investigate kind of the legend of Bloody Mary. One of their girlfriends sort of joins them as well, sort of partway through the film. And pretty much right from the get-go, sort of strange things start to happen and the sort of slightly ghostly apparitions start to appear. And then this sort of film takes a bit of an odd twist. It kind of almost goes into a kind of supernatural conspiracy thriller for about the kind of the middle portion of this film, up the sort of second act, which is kind of very sort of different to what you're probably going to expect from this movie. If you're expecting something like Grave Encounters, I guess the kind of the first and the last portions are a little bit more like that, but the middle section really is like a kind of almost like a kind of crime mystery thriller in a weird way, with a kind of supernatural twist, and it kind of is a little bit jarring. You're kind of thinking, where the hell is this story going? And it's something they're just trying to track down, you know, the actual sort of factual sort of situations which happened in the hospital in regards to sort of the sort of Typhoid Mary legend and the kind of the drugs and the doctors and everything that was sort of apparently experimenting on her and things like that. And then obviously it kind of switches back into more of your kind of standard sort of ghostly narrative towards the end. So the movie is a bit of a strange mix already. Add to that, obviously, the fact I say it's a very low budget. The acting really isn't very good at all, I have to say. Pretty much across the board. There is some quite terrible line delivery for the most part. There is a fair amount of kind of ghostly action, and it kind of looks very sort of like video effects, if that makes sense. A couple of scenes, I suppose, are reasonably effective if you can kind of look past the sort of the budget. And I sort of, you know, fair enough, they've kind of tried to sort of make a sort of a spooky atmosphere, but it doesn't ever really come across as a scary film at all, unfortunately. It just seems a little bit silly, and the kind of where it kind of goes off on a tangent, it just makes it a little bit boring, unfortunately. Also, the script is pretty bad. I mean, it's got one of these really sort of annoying situations that you sometimes found in a lot of these found footage films where someone will blatantly have a ghostly encounter, and there's actually one of the main guy, I suppose, actually has two sort of ghostly encounters right at the beginning of the film. The first one just seems to be this kind of this random sort of teenage girl on the street, and you can kind of pass that one off because that one maybe you can sort of write off as she may have just disappeared or what have you. But the second time when they sort of first go and try and encounter this kind of like asylum, which is out in the woods somewhere ultimately, this kind of old woman comes up and kind of grabs the camera, and she's sort of speaking sort of some sort of weird sort of language where it's kind of very distorted and everything, and she kind of looks freaky. And then she sort of instantly disappears, and I'm sorry, but if someone instantly disappears, you're going to question, aren't you? It's literally before your eyes. And the thing that annoys me most is no one ever sort of goes back and sort of checks the videotapes and these things. And when we're seeing it from the kind of the found footage sort of side of things, we can see that they're kind of distorted and kind of weird stuff going on. But you know, this happens and happens, and there's actually a point of sort of getting towards the middle of the film where he's actually chased by a ghost with all this kind of like ghostly smoke coming off him and stuff like that, and still he just puts it down, oh yeah, someone was chasing me, stuff like that. It's very, very annoying. Later in the film, the girlfriend, the sort of female lead, kind of gets possessed again. People just don't want to accept these things, even though all of this stuff has sort of happened up to this point. Just makes it for a very frustrating film, and kind of, just quite frankly, it's a boring film, I hate to say. You know, I do quite like some low-budget horror films, but this one, it wasn't scary. It was badly acted. The special effects weren't anything to write home about. And you know, it's just not an interesting film to watch. So I have to give this one a 2.5 out of 10. Didn't really enjoy it, unfortunately. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.